Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. Right, as you can see in the title, this is Prophecy Watch. As we look around the world, right, tying the things that are happening to the Holy Scriptures, because all things are being fulfilled, which were foretold, all right, by the holy prophets, which were sent into the earth to do a very, very important job, all right, which in these latter days, the prophets have been raised up again, all right, and as the scriptures say, let thy prophets be found faithful, all right, so when we go into these prophecies, all right, we're not doing these things to uplift ourselves and make ourselves seem, like we're just these great men and look what I found, but ultimately to uplift and glorify the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, all right, in Egypt, all right, when that great deliverance took place, all right, it brought glory to the name, all right, Yahweh, and he did that via his angel, all right, which is his mediator, all right, his priest, all right, the priest of the Most High God, his angel, his messenger, which is all fulfilled in his only begotten Son. That's who delivered us out of Egypt by the hand of the Most High God, Yahweh. Okay, and the name Yahweh received fame throughout the whole land at that time. All right, and right now we're living in a world that's void of respect, all right, for the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right, and his only begotten Son, you see? So we've been sent into the world, all right, to declare those names, bringing back an ancient legacy that goes all the way back to the time of Adam, all right, which we know Abel was slew, all right, then you had Seth, Enos, and it tells you, then begin men to call on the name of the Lord. And the sons of God has always been given the duty, okay, of calling on those names, all right, representing those names amongst all of the idols, all right, and the differences of opinions that are in the earth. Okay, remember, it is idol worship that has led to this great mess that we find ourselves in. As a matter of fact, as you can see here on the screen, all right, Hajj pilgrimage, all right, more than 1,000 dead in extreme 52C heat wave. Let's check this out.
Nearly 2 million Muslims undertake the journey to Mecca annually, and this year, more than 1,000 people have so far reportedly died.
Let's read this. Let's
Unbelievable.
Let's run that back.
Nearly 2 million Muslims undertake the journey to Mecca annually, and this year, more than 1,000 people have so far reportedly died. It's unbelievably hot there, temperatures of over 50 degrees right now, and it's feared the death toll could go much, much higher. Unregistered pilgrims do not have access to proper facilities, things like air conditioning and official transport, as Caroline Hawley now reports.
Now, if you, watch our live camps, which we go out every Friday. Sometimes we go out Tuesday, but not this past Friday's camp, but the camp before that, there was a Muslim guy who came up. We went back and forth with him. Sometimes it gets played out going back and forth with these people, but, some edification came out. We dealt with him. He didn't have the answers as pertaining to any prophecies that are in the Quran. All that he did was, tell us that, Muhammad was illiterate. All right, when we kept asking him, well, what did he prophesy? What did he say? Well, he was illiterate. Then he said, well, he's on the same level as who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, And all of this rhetoric, we ended up, he ended up scurrying off. But, we went into some history. But we brought up this particular Kaaba stone, which these heathen, all right, and you got our people that are a part of this religion as well. They go and worship. And we were talking about how, annually, and, they go to circle this stone, okay, and ultimately this is the idol that they serve. You see? So this year, Okay, a week after we, and brothers all around the world always condemning this, so it's not saying we're anything special. A week after, we dealt with that, we talked about how Mecca used to be, a land of idolatry, which it still is. They had an idol for each, day of the year. All right. Then they came to serve one God, as Muhammad linked with Khadijah, who was a Jew. All right. And ultimately, the religion of Islam in its fulfillment is a offshoot of the Roman Catholic Church. Okay. And really what they worship is Mary, as we've been showing you, this particular stone. Okay. This is nothing but the vagina worship. And this is what they kiss. Okay. They lick it, they kiss it. Okay. I don't believe they sanitize it because it's holy, but they go annually, all right, to worship this stone. And ultimately, this is nothing but Queen of Heaven worship. This is why in the book of, in the Quran, you have the book of Miriam. Okay. And that's all this is. This is an idol. Okay. Let's check this out. No, absolutely not. I mean, you could look up videos on it. As a matter of fact, I did a video going down the rabbit hole of idol worship. If you want to check this video out, I'll go into it a little bit here. Going down the rabbit hole of idol worship, the Queen of Heaven, which is one of the strongholds in this world. But yeah, when you go into that, that idol, it's literally a vagina. Okay.
Is that and you didn't see it in the reality. My friend, is that the black stone in the picture? Bro. Is that the black stone? I have it in the picture. Is that the black stone, my friend? Do you see it? Is that really a black stone or making up a story? Is that your black stone? Where it is, bro? I cannot see that. I'm showing it in YouTube.
Madness. Can women kiss the black stone?
Can a woman kiss the black stone? So let's take a look at the legal perspective. Legally, a woman can kiss the black stone, but practically, we may need to think about this because as we've seen nowadays, there are crowds around the black stone and usually men and women struggling to get to the black stone. Under circumstances like this, I would advise women not to consider kissing the black stone. As we all are aware that just doing ishara, so just putting up your
This is madness.
hands and indicating that you're kissing the black stone will suffice. On the other hand, if
Dr. Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
Pleasure to be on.
Now, one aspect of the Hajj pilgrimage is
the main significance, I believe, is that it marks a corner from which the circumambulation starts. If it had not been for this, then one would not like every corner would be the same. So there is this distinctive tone, is how we might regard the black stone here.
You could look up more on it. We ain't got to get too deep into it. But yeah, that's exactly what this is. This is nothing but an idol.
Was built by the Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, which
they're telling you that Abraham built it. There's all kind of madness tied to this religion, which we go into at times. But and our people are heavily into this garbage. But at the end of the day, we go into the history. At the end of the day, every year there's a pilgrimage to go and bow to this thing. Okay. Black stone. Look at that. A lot of people don't know this about, the Islam, which the star and the moon represents, Semiramis, the Queen of Heaven. All right. The moon worship goes back to the Sabines. It's a bunch of history that we would have to go into, but the bottom line is you can see billions of people want to touch this idol. The stone was brought from heaven. The black stone descended from paradise. It was whiter than milk, but it became black due to the sins of the children of Adam. And this is nothing but the children of Ishmael. Okay, the Arabs, who they're not children of the covenant. They had a blessing. Don't get it twisted. All right, but ultimately the blessing was passed down. All right, from Isaac. All right, so they have their myths, their idols, and this is one of them, one of many. The stone will testify on the day of judgment. And this is why they're all kissing it, because by Allah, on the day of Qiyamah, Allah will present, all right, the Hajar al-Aswad in such a manner that it will have 2 eyes and a tongue to testify to the iman of all those who kissed it. So this is why they're all rushing here to kiss it, all right, so that they can be covered pretty much. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, with this madness. All right, but as you can see here, let's start over. This year, on their way to go and worship this, thousands of them dropped dead, right? In extreme heat.
Nearly 2 million Muslims undertake the journey to Mecca annually, and this year, more than 1,000 people have so far reportedly died. It's unbelievably hot there, temperatures of over 50 degrees right now, and it's feared the death toll could go much, much higher. Unregistered pilgrims do not have access to proper facilities, things like air conditioning and official transport, as Caroline Hawley now reports.
It's a sacred duty for Muslims to perform the pilgrimage once in their lifetime, if physically and financially able. And it's a colossal logistics operation for the Saudi authorities. They've been criticised in the past for the way they've handled the Hajj for deadly stampedes. But this year, the danger came from
people killing one another to get to the stone, right?
Blistering heat. There was water on hand, large sprinklers, and some air-conditioned areas for the more than 1.8 million pilgrims. But it was more than 50 degrees in the shade, and the scorching temperature took a terrible toll. Athar Hussein is Imam of Leicester's Central Mosque. He's just returned home from Saudi Arabia, scarred by what he saw.
It was undoubtedly a traumatic experience. You would walk and you simply wouldn't know where to look, because everywhere you turned, you would see someone struggling in some way or the other, people completely drowned in sweat. It's not just the frail and the elderly who were affected. I saw perfectly fit individuals who were struggling just to make 50 yards.
In the village of Menofia in northern Egypt, a family mourns. 70-year-old Effendia sold jewellery to pay for the pilgrimage. She had a tourist visa and, like many others, wasn't officially registered for the Hajj. Her children say she was left to walk for miles, taken advantage of by an unscrupulous tour operator. She called home as she was dying.
I screamed and couldn't believe it. She phoned my brother and told him she felt her soul is leaving her body. I wish I was with her.
The casualties come from many countries, and there are fears that climate change will in the future make the Hajj even more dangerous.
And we can look it up. Let's see here. Let's go to Google. Do Muslims worship Mary like the Catholics? Both the Quran and the entire Islamic tradition consider Mary the most blessed and prominent woman. This belief reaches back to Muhammad, yada, yada, yada. All right. And that's all this is. All right. Let's see here. See if a picture comes up. See if we can get a picture. You know. Let's see here. Used to be a picture they used to show. You know, that's really all this is, man. It's a bunch of madness. And when you see how they present Mary, it's usually, let's see if we can get this to come up, in this type of form, you know. Let's see. Let's go to the Queen of Heaven. Yeah, this is the madness that these heathen are into, you know. When you see how she's presented, you know, it's really a vagina. There used to be a bunch of pictures online that would show it to you, but for some reason they took it off. Very interesting. Queen of Heaven. See if it comes up this way. If not, it's all right. You know, I have some videos. I had to go back and find them where this used to openly be on Google, but they don't show it anymore. Very interesting. They took that off. Here's an example. You see how that, you know, you know what that is. Anyway, let's go back to this video real quick and finish it off.
The charity Islamic tourist visa, and like many others, wasn't officially registered for the Hajj. Her children say she was left to walk for miles, taken advantage of by an unscrupulous tour operator. She called home as she was dying.
I screamed and couldn't believe it. She phoned my brother and told him she felt her soul is leaving her body. I wish I was with her.
The casualties come from many countries, and there are fears that climate change will in the future make the Hajj even more dangerous. The charity Islamic Relief has called for urgent steps to inform pilgrims of the risks and to ensure that their safety is paramount.
So the spirit definitely ain't with these heathen. This is the book of Psalms 96 and 5. All right, then you have an offshoot of that, that came to Moorish science, the Moorish science temple, which led to the Nation of Islam, and all of that. And ultimately, that's what it's all rooted in, is idol worship, and our people been into that. As a matter of fact, real quick, saying to a stock, how's that written in the book of, was that Jeremiah? Boom, there we go. Let's get that. Jeremiah chapter 2 and 26. As a thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed, they, their kings, and their princes, and their priests, and their prophets, saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth. See, these are all ancient practices that are, being brought back, as, we're in a idol-infested, rulership. These things are allowed to forward themselves. In the kingdom of heaven, when the true Israelites are set up in Jerusalem, none of these idols will be able to afford themselves. But these are things that our people have always got into. Okay, and when in 9 times out of 10, when Jake becomes a Muslim, he ain't turning back. You have a few who eventually, you know, but a lot of them are completely, they have their conscience is seared with a hot iron, saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth. And then Jake, who's a part of the Nation of Islam, will say, well, we don't believe in the stone, yada, 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 you know, whatever, man. All right, overall, the spirit's not with them guys. They ain't prophesying nothing but the building of the community here in Babylon the Great. And we'll see how far that gets you. See, all of these things sound good to the people, all right, you know, and you're able to take advantage of people's emotions. But as these prophecies that we're speaking come to pass, all of that will be looked at and seen to be vanity. Okay? It says, saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone thou hast brought me forth. For they have turned their back unto me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us. And that's what Jake is going to do. When all of these prophecies come to pass, which they're right before your face, they're going to be calling on God to save them. Well, call on that rock. Call on Allah. Call on Muhammad, who you all say is on the same level as the Messiah. It says, but where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise. If they can save thee in the time of thy trouble, according to the number of thy cities, all right, are thy gods, O Judah. So Judah, Jake is into all kind of gods. Okay, let's read this in the NLT. I saw this the other day. I was like, damn. And somebody brought it to my attention. Remember, y'all were getting on those Muslims. So I was like, I may as well do a video on it. NLT, but why not call on these gods you have made? When trouble comes, let them save you if they can, for you have as many gods as there are towns in Judah. So Jake, you know, they're in the witchcraft, they're into Christianity, you know, they're into Satanism, they're into everything. Islam, okay, Buddhism. Niggas are Buddhists now. Derek James, who was Earl Spencer's trainer, you know, I was watching a special, 'cause we into boxing, and then the dude's, you know, doing his prayer, talking about, yeah, I'm a Buddhist. What's her name? The Rosa Parks, who was on the famous for not, you know, sitting at the back of the bus. Was a horrible thing to, you know, that's what Jake is celebrating over, you know, being an Israelite. Well, she's, instead of sitting on the back of the bus, she sat on the front. Boy, oh boy. And that's something to be celebrated, which come to find out she wasn't the only one that did that. Anyway, all right, they just use particular people to captivate the minds of Jake and to draw you in to what they want you to be mad about. But she was into those weird philosophies. Many of these Jakes, they're into all kind of stuff. Wherefore will ye plead with me? You all have transgressed against me, saith the Lord. All right. Psalms 96:5. For all the gods of the nations are idols, but Yahweh made the heavens and the earth. Okay. Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are in his sanctuary. Okay. Let's get Micah 1:7. Now this goes back to the gods that the northern kingdom, all right, were all into. And then to this day, they're still all into it again. Okay, Micah 1:7. But all the graven images thereof shall be beaten to pieces, and the hires thereof shall be burned with fire, and the idols thereof will I lay desolate. All right, for she gathered it for the hire of an harlot, and they shall return to the hire of a harlot. So all of these idols are getting ready to be confounded. Psalms 97:7. Confounded are all they that serve graven images, that boast themselves in idols. Worship him, all ye powers, which the gods of the earth, okay, are the Israelite men. All right, starting with the elect. We are gods. That's in the book of Psalms, the 82nd chapter. All right, but we've, separated ourselves from our power. Now here in these latter days, the sons of God have been raised up, starting with the remnant, man. Okay? It says, Zion heard and was glad, and the daughters of Judah rejoiced because of thy judgments, O Lord. And that's taking place amongst the remnant. You have men, women, and children coming back to the Heavenly Father as prophesied. Okay? Rejoicing in his judgments. For thou, Yahweh, art high above all the earth, for thou art exalted far above all powers. Okay, now Paul tells you, right, in the book of 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter, or is it the 8th chapter? All right, because these idols literally have power over people. A god is anything that has sway over your behavior. Right? This is 1 Corinthians 8 and 5. For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in the earth, as there be gods many and lords many, right? But unto us, the church, the believers, there is but one God, Yahweh the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Lord, which is the mediator, all right, between the Most High and his chosen people, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, by whom are all things, and we by him. You see? So ultimately, whether it be in heaven or on earth, there's many things people declare as gods. See? But we see how these gods and how these things forward in themselves in the earth have made the earth void of judgment and righteousness. Okay? Now, though, Islam is a idol infested religion is terrible. There's a lot of pedophilia that goes on amongst them, right? But it's more in order as far as the family structure and everything than Christianity. I'll give them that. Okay? This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 14th chapter, and the 12th verse. It says, sexual immorality began when idols were invented. All right, they have corrupted human life ever since they were first made. This is why these people, all right, need to be put in subjection under the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because how absolutely crazy is it that these people annually are fighting to kiss this stone and march around it? That's madness. Okay, this is madness. Okay? It is all kind of pagan, rites. All right, and Christianity and the Roman Catholic Church, they're all a part of this whole hub of idol worship as well. They're into that. Okay? They're into that. They forward these gods. Why the black stone became black.
Have you seen how Muslims fight over the black stone? We're going to explain what the Meccans used to do more in this video. Please watch this video until the end if you want to know more about the black stone. As you saw, Muslims are pushing, even screaming in anger and fighting over the black stone and being hostile to one another just to reach the black stone to touch it, or if capable, smooching it with their lips. Very sad and disturbing, I agree. Yet Muslims want to convince us that they are not pagans and Islam is not a pagan cult.
Emotional damage!
Really? According to the Islamic sources, the stone used
This is all fair use. I ain't making no money from these videos.
To be more white than milk, but the stone became black because the sins of mankind were absorbed into the black stone. So the black stone forgave the sins of mankind. Hence why it's called in Arabic Hajar Aswad, i.e. black stone. Some sources also say that the black stone is Yamin Allah on earth, which means the right hand of Allah. We also know that the Kaaba was destroyed many times over by Muslims. The Karmatians, or in Arabic Al-Qaramita, stole the stone for at least 2 decades, defiled it with human excrement, and smashed it into tiny little pieces. The leader of the Qaramita even challenged Allah, saying, Ya Allah, send your army of birds to kill us. On page 247, we read that a very strange and yet disturbing ritual was practiced by the Quraysh of Mecca during Hajj, and together we will understand what the original meaning of Hajj is and what was being done by the women of Mecca to the black stone. Be warned, the following info could be very disturbing for some people. Hajj comes from the word hak or ihtikak, i.e. rubbing of the female private parts against the black stone of Allah.
Because that's what it is. Ultimately, this is all Queen of Heaven worship. Okay? Queen of Heaven worship. All right? Why do they worship Mary so much? What do you think this is really all about? You could kind of see more here. You know, this is really a presentation of a vagina, you know? And I know y'all tired of me saying it, but this is the reality of where we are, man. All right, another thing we can look up is, they worship Mary. And this is a known fact. Relations between the Catholic Church and Islam deals with the current attitude, yada, yada, yada. Well, there's a history you got to go into that'll let you see that ultimately this religion was born out of Catholicism, you know, which is madness. And it's time to let this madness pass, okay?
In other words, the women of Mecca used to rub their private parts on the black stone during their monthly courses for fertility wishes. When women wanted to have a baby, they rubbed their vaginas against the black stone, bleeding on the stone. So the black stone was always covered in blood. Oof, nasty. Not only the women were seen naked, but also the men used to go around the Kaaba with their penises dripping semen. In History of At-Tabari, Volume 1, page 203, we can also read, when it was asked why and how did the black stone turn black, the answer was, menstruating women were touching it. Touching here means rubbing their female private parts against the stone.
You see, this is what, all right, these ancient practices, our people have always got into it. This is why it's important to tap into Yahweh Bashmi al-Shai. The origins of adultery, sexual immorality. This is Wisdom of Solomon, the 14th chapter and the 12th verse in the GNT Bible. Sexual immorality began when idols were invented. They have corrupted human life ever since they were first made. Idols have not always existed, nor will they exist forever. It was human pride that brought them into the world. All right. And why? I mean, because when these heathen, you know, experience things like sex, you know, experience things like childbirth, experience things like seasons changing and fruit, they tied it to the gods of the you know, that govern the world. All right. And these cults have ran the world, you know, over the year. That's the cult that runs this world. It's all based upon those left-handed practices. Okay? And the results of it is complete madness. Okay? Verse 27, Wisdom of Solomon 14. The worship of idols whose name should never be spoken is the beginning and the end and the cause and the result of every evil. People who worship them lose control of themselves in ecstasy or pass off lies as prophecies, or live wickedly, or break their word without hesitation. They tell lies under oath and expect no punishment, because the idols they put their trust in are lifeless. But punishment will finally catch up to them, all right, for two reasons. First, they were in error about the Most High when they worship idols. And second, they had so little regard for holiness that they made false statements to deceive people. And this is what's going on in the world. And it's speaking of what our people got into. But the heathen, all right, this is why every knee is going to bow to the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay? All of these heathen are going to be in subject to righteousness, because this is the type of madness that's able to flourish, okay, under these losers, man. Romans 14:11, for as it is written, as I live, saith the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess, okay, to the Most High God, Yahweh. And he's going to do that on earth through his only begotten Son, establishing the throne of David. Philippians 2:10, for that at the name of Yahweh Shai, every knee should bow, of things in heaven, things in earth, and things under the earth. Everything is going to bow to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and every tongue should confess that Yahweh Shai is Lord, to the glory of the Father, Yahweh. See? So all of these nations are getting ready to have to put and throw all of these idols away. That's what that first 1,000-year period is for. Because these heathen are going to have to unlearn all of this garbage. See? Revelation 2:26, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and they shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken into shivers, even as I received of my Father. Okay? And I will give him the morning star, the laws in our inward part. You see? He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. This is Yahweh Shai's words. Okay? And when you get Zechariah, right? All of the heathen that are left over, okay, after that destruction comes, right? Zechariah 14:16, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all of the nations which came against Jerusalem, and the Arabs have a big part of the Israelites going into slavery as well. The sub-Saharan slave trade. They, along with, you know, the Hamites and a lot of our own people, helped them, all right, sold, all right, you Israelites to the so-called white man. You see? It says, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all of the nations which came against Jerusalem shall go up from 1 year, all right, to year to worship the king. So all of that, this pilgrimage to Mecca, all of these garbage, you know, at this garbage activity that's taking place in the earth, it's all going to be reversed to the right way, and shall go up from year to year to worship the king, Yahweh, all right, of hosts. See? And to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. Now, when you look up this word host, Yahweh of hosts, okay? Tazabah, that which goes forth, war, organized army, host of angels. Okay? And see, these heathen have turned it into the sun, the moon, and the stars, which those are hosts in their ordinance and in their order. All right, but the host, the Lord of hosts, is the angels, and the top angel that the Heavenly Father is Lord of is Yahweh Shai. And he's gonna establish, okay, that order on the planet Earth. So all of these heathen are gonna have to worship the right way. And it shall come to pass that whoso will not come up of all of the families of the earth to Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, shall even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up and keep not the Feast of Tabernacles, they shall have no rain. There shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and all the punishment of all the nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So all of y'all are going to have to bow to the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay? Because this madness must pass. Okay?
Yuck! We know that Muhammad and his Sahaba and today's Muslims still kiss the black stone. Oof. So now we know why the stone became black, my friends. That's the real reason right there. Muhammad then later forbade the Meccans
Yeah, well, I don't know about all of that, you know.
to go naked circulating the Kaaba, which is called tawaf. Maybe that could have been the reason why Omar ibn al-Khattab didn't want to kiss the stone. Yet Omar only kissed it because he saw Muhammad putting his lips on the stone, kissing it. Omar, being a Meccan himself, clearly knew what the women of Mecca used to do to the black stone. So he didn't see any advantage or benefit kissing a black stone covered with women's menstruation blood.
Nasty work. Moving along, okay. NASA to launch an artificial star into low Earth orbit. What are these heathen doing?
Kaufman, World News Report today, June 21st, 2024. God bless you and yours, no matter where you are in the world. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. NASA will launch artificial star into Earth's orbit, costing $19.5 million.
Now, this is a $19.5 million that they're using to shoot an artificial star in the sky. Meanwhile, people are on Earth struggling, starving, uncertain. Okay? As a matter of fact, let me bring up this video real quick. Okay?
The American dream is now to leave America. Someone get me a green card, someone get me a visa, like, I'm leaving, bye.
That the American dream is dead. Yes, the traditional American dream, which is like doing better than your parents and being able to provide a lot for your family, is dead, or at least it's changed. Because there are
I was like, 37 years until I retire. I could do this. I don't have a savings account. There's hardly anything in my 401k. I'm not retiring.
The American dream is dead. It is over. Gone and forgotten.
From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, I'm working. I work 7 days a week. When I'm not working, I'm thinking about work. It's an unhealthy obsession.
I'm sorry, but the American dream never existed. Like, what? Your dream is to work until you are 65 and decrepit and not be able to make ends meet the entire time?
Yeah, and these are Edomites. There was one of a dude crying. Okay, I can't find it, but let me see if I can do it like this. Yeah, I think they took it off the internet. I can't find it, but it was this Edomite crying, man. It was on WorldStar, but they took it down. But yeah, the dude was crying, man. He was hurt. All right, because he threw. The American dream is over, man. It's over. Meanwhile, all right, they got $19.5 million to shoot an artificial star in the moon. I mean, in the sky. They got money to put towards blocking the sun. Why? This is why they have to be stopped. Okay? This is some... NASA recently approved $19.5 million land boat space mission to launch the mini state line into Earth's orbit. This is some really awesome science that NASA is supporting, which that means deception in the Hebrew. It means to lift or to deceive. Okay, yada, 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 who studies astronomy, okay, told Business Insider. Okay, yeah, the astronomy. Now, what does the scripture say in Isaiah, the 14th chapter? We'll get it, but let's listen to a little bit more of this.
What a fabulous idea, considering the financial situation the U.S. is currently in. NASA is planning to launch an artificial star in Earth's orbit. According to Futurism, the artificial star will be about the size of a toaster and equipped with 8 lasers. But for what possible purpose? The creation of the star is part of NASA's $19.5 million space project called LandAlt, The Landolt project aims to help scientists accurately measure real stars in space and are hoping it will assist in studying dark energy. Per futurism.com,
what do you want to? Why fix the Earth? Well, this is why the elites of this world are getting ready to be, put in chains. Okay, because this is madness, and this is all tied to them trying to call on their gods to help them accomplish their NWO. That's all they're doing. It's an enchantment.
NASA is planning to launch an unusual payload, roughly the size of a toaster and outfitted with 8 lasers. Its job is to imitate stars and other celestial objects like supernovas, Live Science reports, by beaming lasers straight into their instruments back on the surface of Earth. The fake star is part of the space agency's $19.5 million mission dubbed Landolt. Sounds like another slush fund, and is designed to allow scientists to get more accurate measurements of real stars. Researchers suggest it could even help study dark energy, a mysterious hypothetical form of energy that's been used to explain why the universe is expanding at an accelerating rate. So we'll be studying something that's hypothetical, a mysterious hypothetical form of energy. Quote, even with today's modern instruments, measurements of the true brightness of stars have only been known to a few percent, said NASA Exoplanet Scientists Institute Deputy Director and Caltech astronomer David Serradi in a statement. Quote, Landolt will enable an improvement in those measurements by more than a factor of 10. The launch date of the artificial star is sometime in 2029. Like anyone will still be around at that time. What could the possible...
And most likely they're already trying to do it. Anything they tell you that they're going to do, like Neuralink, they're already doing it. Okay, they're just putting it to you as a future plan, but they already putting these things in place, man.
5-year holdup be for launching a toaster into low Earth orbit? Help! Please share, subscribe.
Yeah, the Edomites, all right, the powers that be, all right. Let's see. The powers that be, they're 6.0 magnitude earthquake in Venezuela. There's a lot going on. Deadly sand dust storm headed for U.S. Gulf Coast. It's a pretty good channel. Yeah, these heathen got too much going on. Let's get Isaiah the 47th chapter. All right, Isaiah 47 and 12. All right, as a matter of fact, we'll start at 10. It says, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, and thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, your science, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. And this is ultimately what they're trying to establish themselves, all right, as the Most High, as the representation of what is. Okay, therefore shall evil come upon thee, and thou shalt not know from where it rises, and mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou hast not known. Stand now with thine enchantments, and with thy in the multitude of thy sorceries, which thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou may be able to profit. If so, thou may be able to prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers and the stargazers and the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things which shall come upon thee. And that's ultimately where Esau's at. He's trying to outrun his destiny. He's trying to hijack the Heavenly Father's creation. He's trying to get inside of the people and manipulate their programming to make them something that, you know, that they weren't destined to be. He's ultimately, all right, getting ready to be destroyed. Again, this is why when you get Isaiah the 24th chapter, the earth is defiled in verse 5 under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changes the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. So ultimately, a curse has devoured the earth. Mirth has been taken away. People are depressed. People are confused, crying in the streets, desolation, disease, death, right? So the end result is that the Heavenly Father in Isaiah 24:21, and it shall come to pass that in that day the Lord shall punish the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and they shall be shut up in the prisons. After many days they shall be visited. This is why the Lord is going to put the Spirit on them to survive World War III, all right, and get into those bunkers, man. You see? That's why all you have to do is look it up. Okay, rich elite bunkers. Okay, why are they building those bunkers? Because they have to survive to receive their judgment. Okay? They're building bunkers to escape doomsday because there is a judgment coming to them for all of this confusion and wickedness they're putting into the earth. Let's look up a few articles here and get up out of here. I didn't want to make this too long. Okay, outrage as BBC spends 89,000 pounds, okay, to protect naked child statue by pedo artist. All right. Sea change activists are scaring children with alarming lessons at school. All right. British MP warns NATO planning dirty bomb false flag in Europe to spark WW3, World War III, right? So these are the things. We're in these times. You know, we'll tap more into these articles in another lesson, but I just wanted to speak on, you know, a few things. All right, here real quick. All right, building detention facilities in 50 states for non-compliant, dissidents. Yeah, those concentration camps. That's why it says in the book of Revelation 2, some of us are going to be thrown into prison. As you can see here, U.S. government building secret detention facilities in 50 states, right? And we've been, you know, our apostles and elders been talking about this. Okay, when we first came into this thing, this was one of their main talking points was the camps. Okay, zero tolerance policy for non-compliance, especially if you're talking about those small hats, right? So we're coming up, to where the Lord is getting ready to take us to another glory, man. We're going to need another glory to get through this, and it's going to come through a lot. You know, the Lord is going to be dealing heavily. I'll say that. Okay. Will the war on cash ultimately fail? Melinda, General Johanna and ISUPK told you to trust this thing. All right. 13 countries signed the treaty, all right, to engineer an ethical famine. Wow. AI has learned how to lie. Ovid was the rehearsal for what's coming next. Well, of course, we already can clearly see y'all getting ready to take it there with this bird thing, right? These people, look at this. This is Satan. You can't tell me this ain't the Edomite right here. Look at this guy. That's not Satan. The man of sin is being revealed. Australian government slaughtered millions of chickens due to bird flu. Popular influence who promoted juice, the taco sauce, dies, all right, at 36. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So, Bill Gates promotes maggot milk as solution to child nutrition amid manufactured food crisis. Sheesh. God damn. Oh, man. Yeah, that juice is just, man, goodness gracious. That juice is, hey, often more niggas than the Crips and Bloods. So, hey, we'll leave it at that, man. You know, hopefully y'all were edified. May Yahweh Bashim Yashai be with the elect. We keep fighting. Hey, big things are coming. You know, Lord willing, y'all will edify. Shalom.